One more minute. There it is. What are we going to do?
I gotta barbecue your ass, molasses!
What was that about? Hold on. Right now, one of my lights goes out? Fine. Weird. All right, am I streaming? It is working. Okay, good. Sometimes, I have to say sometimes, oops, mic's on? Okay, we're good. Oh, hi, how you doing? I did the wrong thing. Hold on. I pushed the wrong button. Pay no attention to the man behind that thingamadooger. Over there with the thing. That's not right. That's good. I've got a better lens on now. That's good. Can you tell I was working behind the scenes? I look a little tired, a little wide-eyed, a little glassy-eyed. It happens. It's worse things have happened. Hey, man, ain't no problems down here, nothing we can't. Hey, there ain't nothing down here that a couple of clipped nerves couldn't straighten out, as our good friend Gamble Rogers would say. I'm just saying right there. Simmer down, okay? Look, a little booze, little lobotomy. Hey, it's a living. Get the fuck out of here. Accidental fecus. It happens. You know what I mean? As you get older, some people lose control. Anyways, hi, how are you? Good to see you. Good day and good evening and good afternoon. And by the way, hello, chat room. Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. You're lovely people, and it's nice to have you here, and it's nice to have you here. Just saying. Sometimes I feel like dancing to my own, like doing the Caddyshack Gopher dance to my own theme song. What's wrong with that? It's hump day, man. Come on now. All right. It's just, all right, stop. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm having too much fun. Yes, always control the butthole. It's very important.
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
Lots to cover today. Lots of weird folks. But first, I want to welcome you guys and make sure that you're having a lovely afternoon. Are you? How's your day going? How's your Wednesday? How's drinking too much tea? No, I already went. It's one of the reasons I was late getting here. I had to go before the show started because I had a feeling might get a little long. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's Gonzo. What's happening, brother? Good to have you. Hello. See, I don't feel so alone anymore. I'm not. I've got you guys. I'm okay. All right. Now, am I drinking enough water? Yes, I am. I have a whole big thing of water here. Just for to hydrate myself, as it were. So don't forget, in Twitch, you can make me hydrate or something, but somebody has to remind me because I don't have the thing that tells me to do it on the thing, so somebody else has to remind me. Anyways, thanks very much. Thanks so much. Where's yeah, okay, trends up there. So, couple of things. Today is one of those days where there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of news. There's a lot of very important things going on. I had a great conversation with Philip Bittner this morning on the morning show. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, I recommend it. And I have a line. Some of you know this, that at a certain point, I'm just like, piss off with your, like, I don't know, I'm of two minds about the whole thing. And I am not when it comes to, for example, when it comes to
less.
Oh, quit
the sledgehammer to the
economy.
economy.
Oh, be quiet.
You
Stop
probably
making so much noise. I don't need to be quiet. Okay. I got to reload this thing now that I've made it accidentally talk. There we go. So there's a lot of very serious news going on, and that's why. Hi, Anita. How are you? Hi, chat room. Hello. Hi, Pisces. What's going on, El Rondo? What's going on, Steve? How you doing, Andrea? Good to see you. CSL, always a pleasure. Mark, Easy E Network. Lovely to see you guys. It's turning into Romper Room, and I'm proud of it. God damn it. I am, Jay. Water Goddess, hello. Hello. Greta Bird, hi there. The important thing is that there's a lot of very serious things happening in the world. And the way you can tell there's some good news, where you can actually feel like, okay, you know what, it could be a lot worse. And one of the ways you can tell that is your enemies are running out of ammunition. When they're like, well, we've thrown everything against it, we got nothing left. Trump's getting indicted, real indictments, real grand juries, real legal processes, and what's going on over in the attack Biden just cuz world? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Greg Kelly, the most miserable man on the internet, who seems upset simply because Joe Biden is smiling. And this video is titled, and they put the Greg Kelly, President Biden loves fancy clothes. Yeah. It's tan suit time all over again. I suppose this is one of those things where he's like, Biden likes the trappings of wealth and privilege that the presidency gives him, and he's doing it on your dime. Now, granted, he's not keeping 3 golf courses afloat that would otherwise be in receivership using your dime, but it's very upsetting, and Greg's not having it. Now, Greg is not having anything. He's the most miserable man on the internet. But his big criticism is Joe Biden likes to play dress up. Mm-hmm.
You have probably seen the video online by now, a big brawl along racial lines.
Wait. Fakes. This is the other thing. Fake news loves a reason to freak out. That's what he's saying. Okay. Apparently, what, racism is fake or something along those lines, or I'm not quite sure. Like I've seen the videos of this kind of stuff, and I'm not going to comment on the content of it because we know you don't dive into a video that picks up halfway into the altercation, ever. But the fact that Greg Kelly is upset about it puts some weight in that there might be something to this.
At the waterfront in Montgomery, Alabama.
Thrown punch leads to an all-out brawl on an Alabama riverfront. Witnesses calling it an attack on a man just doing his job.
A violent brawl in Alabama goes viral.
Oh my God, I'm so glad that says Doc.
A group of white voters accused of jumping a black security guard. Then a full-blown fight escalated on the riverfront.
I love this. This is that's his response. He's pulling a yawn. Now, you know what this means? This means he reads my tweets. And the idea is that And we always hear about racism. They always bring up racism. It's so boring.
Excuse me. I was nodding off for a moment. I know the media, they really want us to be all riled up about this story. There was a fight. There was a rumble.
There was a fight. It was a rumble. There was no jungle involved. It was not in the Bronx either. Jackie Chan was not involved. It looks like two type 2 diabetics deciding to give it one last shot, quite frankly. But the racial component will be worked out in courts and in conversations ever since. Apparently, 2 of the people involved in the brawl, oops, the brawl can't be found.
We're about probably in a country of 3 million people. How many fights were there?
I'm sorry. How many people are there in the United States? Say that again. You dumb son of a bitch. Back up.
Story. There was a fight. There was a rumble. There were about probably in a country of 3 million people. How many fights were there this weekend?
I don't know. I don't know any 3 million person-sized countries. Counties? There's like 340 million people. And granted, now you don't have to include all of them. In defense of Greg Kelly, in a country of 340 million, we're going to exclude the toddlers. None of us are going to get too worked up about that. The elderly, anybody in a place for mom, the fight is not going to be in any major way. Half the country is far too busy and on the go to get involved in a dock fight in the middle of, I don't know, wherever the fuck this happened. Yeah, and when you boil it down to it, maybe in the country, there are 3 million rando fighter fucks. that's the number. You boil it down in less than 1% of 1% of the country are like, put up your dukes. Thanks, Alabama. Yeah, I rest my case.
A lot. A lot.
Yeah, it's probably a lot. That's a big tongue jut you got going there, Greg Kelly. I'd either buy some chapstick or just fuck it, become a dog.
I know. This was...
No, you don't.
Along race lines. At least that's what they insist, right? They almost want it to be racial. Now, I understand...
Who are they? I understand that it was technically along race lines, and it grew out of that because of the perception that it was based on race, even if it didn't initially start that way. So
this is bad, by the way. I don't like violence. Nobody likes violence. We wish people didn't fight, but they fight.
No, they fight. Especially certain members of the public tend to...
Anyway, maybe I am missing something, all right?
Yes, you are, but I think it's connective tissue between the two halves of your brain.
Let's just go ahead. All right, well, looks like a fight. All right, other guys are jumping in. I wish they did.
You know what? Say what you will about Jimmy Buffett's fans, but socks are overrated.
Didn't fight. Oh, yikes, that's bad.
You think?
And then people...
Is this the first time he's fucking seeing this? It's your show, dickwad.
Somebody comes to the rescue, is that right? Okay, that's...
Yeah, that's what it was. To the rescue. 2 grown men are fighting. Someone please come to the rescue. For the record, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever see me get into a fight on my own with somebody else, especially if I turn my hat around backwards like I'm in every which way but loose all the fucking stuff, don't come to my rescue. If I get my ass kicked, it's because I brought it, okay? If I'm sucker punched and I'm dizzy and somebody's feel free. But in this particular case, if we're both upright and facing each other, piss off.
They break up the fight. Look, the reason...
They what? They do what?
Why this is a thing is because the one who threw the first punch happens to be white, and...
He just happened to be white. He slipped and fell and tripped in some whiteness.
And the person hit happens to be black.
It just worked out that way in Montgomery, Alabama. which is really weird for Montgomery, Alabama. It's the kind of thing where you're in Montgomery, Alabama, and you're like, wow, if there's one thing I don't think I'll ever expect to see in Montgomery, Alabama.
If it were a white person attacking a white person, no one would care. A black
Yeah, because it's Montgomery, Alabama.
person attacking a black person, no one would care.
Right. Because there wouldn't be a racial component. And by the way, I don't think that's true. If white on white or black on black, let's say it's a male versus a female. Suddenly people care. If it's what if there's subcategories? What if it's a light-skinned mixed race dude against a MAGA supporter with a bad sunburn from a sorry, who's got he's wearing orange Trump makeup to cover his lobster red skin from being out on the boat too long. They're both a little loopy. They both drank too much, and I'm just saying, who you putting your money on?
Would be one of the many hundreds, maybe even thousands of fights that seem to take place
on the bus
every weekend. Sometimes
no. By the way, there aren't that many fights, really. In a country of 340 million people, there's shockingly few fights.
Every single day.
No, it's not.
I think everybody is missing something.
Well, I mean, outside of Montgomery, Alabama.
Though, a woman was almost killed. A woman in the red top here. It's a little bit hard to make out, in part because people don't want you to know this part of the story.
That's, again, with the tongue jut. What the shit? Does she excite you that much, Greg? I'm going to throw up. What, she fall down and then she fell between the boats and she almost fell into the water? Did anyone ask her if she can swim?
The man in the white shirt, the dock worker, I think he was actually the deputy captain of the boat. He was under assault, and that's bad for about 50 seconds or so.
Yeah, for him.
This woman was hit in the head with a chair.
What the fuck? When did this go WWE?
Take a closer look. It's hard to make out. And you know what? This video is actually hard to get right now. We're still working on this story.
What? Why? Here's a good idea. If you don't know what the fuck is going on, and you don't have the details, and you're looking at a scatter-ass mess that's happening on a fucking dock in Montgomery, Alabama, maybe just wait a couple days. You're not gonna Monday morning quarterback this. You're not gonna work it out. You aren't. You know what you're gonna come to the conclusion of? That basically this was like a Florida man attack. Lower Alabama, LA, Northern Florida, same shit. Get over yourself. If you don't know, then shut the fuck up.
But right there, that's the worst thing that happened in Montgomery that day.
Well, then I would say a lot has changed since 1965. I'm just saying, progress, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, interracial violence in Montgomery, Alabama has taken a giant leap forward. Shut the fuck. You don't even know what's going on, asshole.
That, I believe, is attempted murder.
I think it's attempted WWE. I think it's attempted Raw.
Now, she happens to be white, and the guy with the chair who hit her in the head happens to be black.
Yeah, why is no one drawing any attention to this thing that I don't even know what the fuck is going on? Was she, by the way, is the audio good on this? Was she by any chance going, somebody get me a chair! I need to sit down! And then he just overreacted. You don't know.
That's not part of the story, is it, right? You know, what's that word they love? A narrative. A narrative. A narrative is it's a story. And it has, a way of presenting or understanding a situation.
Oh, my God, we're going to the Websters.
Or series of events that reflects and promotes a particular point of view or set of values.
Right. Or as Trump likes to call it, fake news, which is what you do.
Yeah, like a story. Like a story. You know, in life, things just happen.
Why story in quotes? Story in and of itself is a quotation.
And they don't necessarily fit into a story, right? I mean, but the media, they want it because they have an agenda. And
no, they don't. They didn't start this fucking fight. And it's fucking Montgomery, Alabama. I think most of us would be shocked to find out that probably the vast majority of fighting that happens in Montgomery, Alabama isn't interracial. I think that would make the news.
Right now, they want everybody at each other's throats.
No, they don't. They're concerned that people are at each other's throats and would not like that to continue.
Over race, I believe, so Democrats somehow can fool a vast portion of the population into thinking that that party protects them more than the other party. But who
protects who? Yeah, that's right.
knows? So there
who does know? But go back to the part, because this is the part that gives Greg a boner.
Was this standoff, and then there was a fight, and it was ugly, and it was brutal, and it's a shame. It's a shame that human beings do that.
It's just a shame that people do that. Now let's cut to January 6th video.
And they did it thousands of times across the country this weekend. Don't fall for it. Don't.
Again, asshole. This is the same argument we have about whether there's hate crimes and what constitutes a hate crime. Motherfucker, I don't care if two people dusting off get into a fight between each other. That's not my business. And I can avoid it because socially, if I'm in a situation that might escalate into a fight, I can either choose to fight or de-escalate it myself. I can make a choice about this. Unless the other person wants to fight because of immutable characteristics that I can't get rid of. And that is true of black people and gay people and women and men and straight, gay, and white and black or whatever. If somebody wants to attack you for reasons you cannot alter, you can't change, like your behavior, then you are in danger just walking around. That's why racism and hate crimes are more pernicious and more dangerous than just regular interpersonal violence, because it's impersonal. I don't know if you know this, but Hitler didn't have a thing with one particular Jew. It was kind of a blanket policy. And you couldn't get out of it ever. That's why a hate crime matters. And by the way, I'd like to put it in terms that maybe this dickhead can understand. I think more people should do more time if they attack a police officer. And I'll tell you why. Because if you are nuts enough to attack a police officer, you certainly will have no qualms about attacking an unarmed civilian. If you're willing to kill a cop, you're willing to kill 3 random civilians. On average, that's about how it works out. So anybody who's crazy enough to attack a police officer and try to hurt them in any meaningful way, and they go through the trial, they get more time tacked on. That's pretty standard. They get more time tacked on. I don't know if it makes them a bigger hero in prison or something, but they get more time tacked on than if they attacked, a regular assault of a civvy. And the reason is because given half a chance, had that cop not been there, they would have attacked somebody else and made it even worse. Okay. And this applies not because of that individual cop, but because if this person will attack police officers in general, they don't care about the ramifications of their actions, and they are violent past a certain point of social interaction with the rest of humanity. The same thing is true of a racist or sexist or bigoted attack. Because now it's not, I got a problem with Fred and Fred's got a problem with me, and once we solve this, it's over. This conversation is over. It's, I have a problem with every Kevin in the world, every Greg in the world. See what I mean? No, Karate Joe. In my chat room. No, they don't. They do not. That's the issue I have. If somebody doesn't like somebody because they don't like their face, or there's some sort of individual problem with them, or they dust up and they get into a fight and back and forth, then that very well may be how these guys started fighting. But this fucker who jumps in may have done it just because this dude's black. He may have done it because I don't know, this dude owes him money. Who knows? But the point is that this guy did it because he's black. That's extra concerning because that motherfucker, now every black person in the area has to worry about this dickhead wandering around because he's abstract in his violence. You don't know when it's going to happen. It is a specific, it's why you don't want violently crazy people walking the street because they could snap and attack anybody, except it's specific to a group. And therefore, giving people more time because they commit a hate crime makes total sense because of the abstract nature of them. They're closer to a serial killer than somebody who murders their husband or wife in some sort of for financial gain. You could be talked out of that later on. You could be rehabbed from something like that. In this case, it's, and I don't know if it's this case again. I mean, in a case of racial hatred or bigoted violence or sexist violence or any abstract reasons, you have an entire group of people now has to worry about that person roaming around deciding when's the next time they're going to do this shit. Right? Okay. Anyways, whatever. Greg doesn't know what the
fall for it. It's fascinating what they choose to cover and what they choose not to cover.
Oh boy, a lot of tongue juts today. He's very upset. I don't know. Does that mean, is he dehydrated or something? I don't know. His hair looks good. I just don't think the new food agrees with him. Sorry. I don't know when he's going to get to the Joe Biden suit thing.
I still have nightmares from this video. It's not just any ordinary street fight. This is, I don't know what it is. Hundreds of guys surrounding an individual.
All right, why are we just showing abstract, like, pick up in the middle fights? This is just ridiculous. And then he's going to go to Democrats saying political language that he's like, by saying fight, you mean fight.
I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
That he means female voters, dummy. Does Greg Kelly think that that like Schumer was going to put Kavanaugh in a fucking boat and push him out to sea?
You won't know what hit you.
This should be
when he means women voters, which, by the way, has been precisely what's happened. Ohio, hi there.
The most famous clip in the world right now.
Why?
Now, it's actually hard to find on the internet. Chuck Schumer, the majority leader of the United States Senate, calling for violence against a Supreme Court justice.
No. He's not calling for violence. He's saying you are going to see what women voters decide in the future. Like this is, and in this particular one, because of like you will reap the whirl and you'll pay the price, meaning that the right wing he represents is going to have to deal with the rise of women voters. Like this is so obvious.
Of them, and he did it with glee.
The whole cast?
One point he looks at the crowd, his eyes, he can't believe wow, they're really eating this up.
Jesus Christ. A feeling Greg Kelly will never know.
Got the crowd in the palm of my hands. He loves it. He's like Mr. Burns. You know Mr. Burns on The Simpsons? It's fast.
Yeah, he's also talking to a giant crowd of women who are being denied their reproductive rights, partly but on the whims of a dude who was accused, validly, I believe, accused of sexual assault in his life. It's a direct one-to-one. It makes total sense. Like this asshole who thinks he can control women's bodies when they're right in front of him also thinks he should control them in the abstract everywhere.
Fascinating that this guy is not in trouble and Donald Trump right now is facing how many? It's a joke. It's a badge of honor, just like he says.
No, it's not. And by the way, none of this has anything to do with the violent threats he's said against people multiple times. Even the shit, like they're trying to make the Jan 6 stuff about him. He said peacefully and patriotically walk down there. Yeah, until you get there. And then he said you're going to have to fight or you're not going to have a country back. Obviously, he just didn't want you to tear up the lawn on your way to kill Nancy Pelosi.
78 felonies. 78 felonies for Donald Trump and 0 for Chuck Schumer and 0 for the Biden family.
Yep. Get used to disappointment.
And I keep hearing, and I am getting sick of it, talk about, I know it's a cliche, the boy who cried wolf, the media telling us that he's a threat to democracy, he's a threat to the judge. Be quiet and let him tweet or Truth Social or whatever.
Okay, be quiet and let him. First of all, you can do all that shit and nobody's in the way. He says what he says, and nobody's like, I guess, calling for the censoring of Truth Social again on in his average statements or in his complaints. It's when he's actually doing like, you fuck with me, I'm coming after you kind of shit. That's him threatening action, either by sending his people or him doing it himself or threatening physical violence, which is not at all what Schumer said. We know this.
We are sacrificing the due administration of justice to Donald Trump's dangerous rhetoric, his reckless speech, his intimidating conduct.
Protective order is necessary to ensure that Trump doesn't publicly disclose evidence.
We are in
he's reading from the state's argument. That was Wolf Blitzer explaining what Jack Smith made as an argument in court. That's not Wolf Blitzer just going, we've got to shut this guy down. But he's edited in such a way because that's how Greg Kelly,
unique circumstances here. It's probably unprecedented that a high-profile defendant in this case makes such overt threats.
Consider this harassment. Consider this dangerous, that there would have to be, whether it be a gag order or something imposed on restricting the language of the defendant.
They're trying to...
Again, she's doing the same thing Wolf Blitzer was doing. She was describing the argument. She wasn't making the argument. She may have, described it in more, casual terms, but she's basically making the case that they're going to have to do a gag order on this guy because he's making threats and he might disclose evidence about the case in a way that would fuck with the jury pool, and then you can go, I can't get a fair trial because people have heard this stuff. Like, you can't, this is a trick Trump is not above doing, which is you leak bad information about yourself, and then you go, how'd that get out?
The past wasn't that long ago.
I know.
Him in jail for the rest of his life, and he can't.
Well, in all fairness, I think they're going to put him in Bedminster for the rest of his life.
Put stuff on Truth Social. This is the threat.
No, you can put all kinds of stuff. You just can't put the home address of an attorney general or their wives or children.
A couple of paragraphs on Truth Social. These are funny, they're interesting, they're insightful, and it's from...
Insightful. Yeah, break it down. The Obama-appointed judge in the free speech indictment. Okay, which is a lie, okay. Crooked Joe Biden's Department of Injustice. I call it that because I thought that they got shared professional ties at the law firm that worked for energy company Burisma, based in Ukraine, of which Hunter Biden and his associates were proud members of the board. Right. Because they weren't committing any crimes. It's weird. Okay, so what you're saying is that a bunch of people who are above board know each other vaguely because of a town where business takes place, and they hate you because you broke the law. That's the breakdown?
A man defending himself. None of those people have been charged with a crime. If this is the way he wants to defend himself, good for him. It's fascinating. They can...
This is grossing me out. I'm just fucking nasty. I don't know what the fuck. All I can imagine is that when Greg Kelly sits on the fucking bus, he's just going, just like not talking, just to himself. Good Lord.
Say whatever they want about him. They can have campaign after campaign after campaign. Actually, they did. The January 6 hearings, part 4.
Among the most...
Part 4, it was one thing.
Shameful of this committee's findings was that President Trump sat in the dining room off the Oval Office watching the violent riot at the Capitol on television. No.
Yeah, it was not for how long he did it, which is the point, for like an hour and a half or something without doing anything, just enjoying it. And by the way, Greg Kelly's like, now they're going after him for watching television? Oh, I guess. Oh, and that's the thing. They're trying to indict him for watching television. You watch television, don't you? I mean, obviously, I'm not on it. It's an internet thing that you watch. You probably, I'm probably on your phone, Mom. Hi.
No man who would behave that way at that moment in time can ever serve in any position of authority in our nation again. He is unfit for any office.
Agreed.
And that was in primetime television. Liz Cheney. We had to listen to Liz Cheney. Primetime, January 5th hearing. Remember that? Last summer. It was...
Yeah, it was fascinating. It was riveting.
All her. And then she lost by 50 points.
In a state with less people in it than half of Santa Monica, California.
If she can do that in primetime television, I think Donald Trump can put a couple of things up on Truth Social, don't you?
No, I don't. First of all, did she threaten his life? Did she say, we are going to kick his ass? If he tries to come after this committee, we're coming after him. Grab your torches, everybody. No, he didn't. No, she didn't. They didn't. Nobody on the Jan 6 panel did that. Did they list private addresses, bank accounts, his fucking social security number, whatever the fuck? No, they didn't. That's what the gag order is talking about.
That wasn't the first January 6th hearing. We had the ones in 2021 as well.
It's upsetting.
Oh, this is the whole thing. Like, he doesn't think cops should cry.
It's a pathetic excuse for his behavior for something that he himself helped to create, this monstrosity.
Rank and file cops on national television saying President Trump is pathetic. He's a...
Yeah, I agree. Some people in my audience don't like to regularly agree with cops, but they certainly do in this case.
Created monstrosities.
You know who you are.
That's fine, and it's on national television. There were January...
Right. Did they say, if I ever see that fucker in traffic, I'm going to pull him over and throw the book at him? No.
January 6 hearings in 2021. And before that, there were the impeachment hearings, even though he was no longer president. Remember, they tried to impeach him. So they do... Oh.
Yeah, for behavior he committed while president, which is impeachable. And then the idea was that... And by the way, he was still president at that point. He just had lost the election.
And one documentary after the next. All this 4 hours at the Capitol, HBO, and on and on and on. ABC News Special, PBS News Special, CBS News Special, the January 6th report. Let's make it a bestseller, even if it's not a bestseller. Just on and on and on with January 6th stuff, trying to, I think, taint the jury pool. Can we...
No. First of all, the committee was an investigative body over a government employee, which is pretty common, even with like inspector generals within the government doing an initial investigation and making their findings public. That's a fairly normal thing. So why is he fucking special? And their job was to have that committee and then present their findings to the DOJ, and the DOJ could decide what they were going to do with him. And they have. And he's going to jail. Well, he's ankle monitor or something.
Possibly say that this tainted the jury pool. All this compared to what? A couple of Truth Social comments?
No, not comments. And by the way, these aren't the ones he's getting in trouble for. And as a matter of fact, let's see, I never said anything bad or even slightly inappropriate to little Mike Pence or whatever. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Purposely didn't comment on Nancy Pelosi's very weird story about her husband. Yeah, he's intentionally leaving out the, if you come after me, I'm coming after you, whatever. That one. He's intentionally leaving out those. He just, like, find a spattering of like random blather from Trump where he doesn't make one. Like, it's probably harder. These are the only 5 they could find where he doesn't implicitly make a threat right now.
And also what he says things at speeches that they refuse to cover. I do worry,
Well, once you've covered it, I've covered it, and he's saying the same shit over and over again. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love covering him because he has, what is it, the best words?
Had the best words.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be a country no more. I actually think it will not. It will be a country no more. We have to slab it.
Yeah, you know.
If he is somehow incarcerated, who's going to speak for us? Who's really going to do it?
I don't know. How pathetic is your political movement that you only have one leader that can speak on your behalf? Seriously, explain how you're not a cult right now.
Who's really going to pull it off for us? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard because if he can't pull it off, who will?
I had to beat off.
Or beat off, yeah.
A lot of these guys out there, they're mimics. They're not genuine.
Yeah. Oh, unlike Trump, who's the real deal. He's not just a paper doll carbon copy of his father's shitty attempts to have a racist rental policy in New York.
I worry about that. I do like that.
Yeah, I know.
Congressman McCarthy, the speaker, is finally talking about impeaching the big guy.
Where's the money?
Where's the money? His cutesy little answer when he was finally asked, for once by the press, you know, there are very serious allegations that you took money, your family took money.
It's fucking Ducey again, I think.
From all these foreign countries, like, well, Ukraine. $17 million. This has been.
By the way, anybody mind if I hold on? You know, it's funny that you bring this up, dummy. Let's see, because I just did a thing today. Yeah, there it is. Present. Start there. Take this. Grab this guy. And slide this thing over here. Remember TPP? I showed you this morning, and I'm very proud of this. So TPP was a Trans-Pacific Partnership. It was to push back against Chinese industrial hegemony around the Pacific and throughout Southeast Asia. Basically, crowd out Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Brunei, Singapore, Malaysia, India, ultimately Australia, New Zealand, and a part of it was Canada, Mexico, Peru, and Chile because it was all the Pacific. And the United States was a part of it. And it was intentionally there to stop China's expansion. And then on the second day in office, Trump gets rid of TPP. He's very proud. He signs an executive order getting rid of it. And China doesn't have to worry about that anymore. And then the same year, while he's president of the United States, $17 million. Why does that number sound so familiar? Now, where this the difference is, and there's a very distinct difference, and I want to know if you guys can spot it. Allegedly received and actually did. This isn't even a question. This isn't like this. They have the paperwork. He doesn't even deny this at this point. In 2017, the company reported an unusually large spike in revenue from some $17.5 million, more than the previous 5 years combined. It was accompanied by a $15.1 million withdrawal by Mr. Trump from the company's capital account. He just took $15 million out. That's that. There you go. That's when you talk about $17 million and allegedly, do yourself a favor and just parallel it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just say, Biden is alleged to have gotten $17 million. Now, that's what everybody involved in all of the business in Europe got collectively, multiple businesses, right? Multiple people, including Devin Archer, including Tony Bobulinski or whoever the fuck else was in Rosemont Seneca at that point, and money that was invested, not taken as income. Like they're scooping it all together. But by comparison, Donald Trump, $17.5 million payment, and he withdrew $15 million in cash himself his first year in the White House. He did it. But please go on. Anyways, back to what was that word you were using? Allegedly.
Established by the House Oversight Committee. They've seen it.
No, you haven't. If they've seen it, then you wouldn't have this.
They've gone through the LLCs. They went through the suspicious activity reports at the Treasury Department. This is documented.
No, it's not. And I love this too. Biden family and associates. Meanwhile, for the record, it was accompanied by a $15.1 million withdrawal by Mr. Trump from the company's capital account. By him fucking self.
I'm saying there's no evidence. There's plenty of evidence.
Then show some, asshole. You opened this fucking video playing footage of people brawling on a fucking dock. Post it. Don't make a fucking graphic. I didn't have to. I made a graphic. It's very nice. But it's also, it accompanies an article that specifically notes what was found by the Washington Post, or New York Times in this case, in Trump's taxes. Very specific. Not alleged, actual.
From China, how much money? At least from $3 million transferred to the Biden family. From Romania, of all places, $1 million sent. Now, it's true. Joe's not getting any of the money.
All right, well then, fuck off.
But everybody else in his family is, including grandchildren, including ex-girlfriends and
essentially anybody that Hunter owed money to.
Ex-wives, and it's insane.
Yes. His ex-wife got some of his money from his business. He got a divorce. Greg, you got to know what a divorce is, buddy.
It's actually everybody's getting money except for Joe.
Gee, it's almost like he has a different plan for his life.
That's a red flag right there.
No, it isn't. No, it fucking isn't. Has anybody got law enforcement in their family that don't own property, don't own any commercial property in the area that they live in, specifically for the reason that they don't want to have an issue if they have to police their own property as a commercial entity outside their work as a law enforcement? Yeah, that's a pain in the ass. They just don't.
There, don't you think? And we have that text message from Hunter where he's moaning about having to share all of his salary, half of it at least, with the big guy, his father.
No. First of all, bag men don't complain about sharing money. It's either his dad's fucking money or it isn't. Secondly, that was when Jill and Joe were holding his money for him because he was snorting it.
Where could the money be? They could have spent it.
Yeah, that's what it was. They spent it. On what?
I mean, Joe is... I mean, look at all that stuff. The watches, the...
Okay, first of all, one is an old house he doesn't have anymore. Secondly, he's had the other two houses for fucking ever. Also, the Corvette isn't new, you know this? And he didn't buy his son. I suppose you could rent him.
The clothes, the clothes.
The clothes. The fuck, it's a tuxedo, asshole. I have 3.
He's very serious about his clothes. You know, you can't necessarily tell right off the bat, but yeah, that's Corneliani. He loves fancy clothes. That's like a $2,000 jacket.
He's the president of the United States, you fucking idiot. Again, we're back to tan suit. That's what this is. With all this, easy, handy girl. Good Lord. We're back to tan suit. That's what it is. That's what it's boiled down to. This whole clip is the reason you know Biden is a crook is because he likes nice clothes. Billions of dollars. Remember, Trump accused Hunter and Joe of getting $1.5 billion out of China. No clothes are that nice, unless they're fucking nanotech or some shit. Broke men don't have suits. Every time I've ever been broke in my life, I've had a suit. Good Lord. Now, hold on one second. I want to talk about so the argument about Trump right now, of course, is that they're going after me because they really want to go after you and I'm in the way. And obviously that argument is insane. But I don't even know if his attorneys know how to make that argument. I'll show you what I mean. This is attorneys, I think. Hold on. This is Trump attorney. They want to bleed him dry. On Tuesday's Carl Higbee Frontline, that's unfortunate, Trump attorney Jesse Banal calls out the political persecution of his client, and MSNBC claims that the justice system is benefiting him because anybody else would have to surrender their passport and would have had to at least post bail, and be limited in their travel because they're fucking on the hook for 78 felonies.
Well, an internal Facebook document suggests that an FBI agent lied under oath about communications he had with Facebook to suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story. Weird. Now, House Judiciary Committee...
Show it. Because they didn't tell him to do it. It was all a suggestion. We've seen all of it. Never mind.
Chairman Jim Jordan has been investigating these alleged ties between social media and government's role in censorship.
By the way, that was during Trump.
Congressional correspondent Kamani Dukart has more from these developments from Capitol Hill. Kamani?
Chairman Jim Jordan says his House Judiciary Committee and House Select Sub...
Ooh, it's very serious. I don't know. Hold on one second. I got to open this guy up. 1 second. I jump this over here. And then... now I'm going to need... Let's see. Look in here. Sorry. Okay. Now, I just felt like I felt kind of left out. Hold on. This should be better. How about that? Okay. Anyways, you were saying, ma'am?
Committee on the so-called weaponization of federal government have...
I don't know. Maybe I overdid it with the lipstick. I think it makes me look cheap.
Uncovered smoking gun documents that...
Smoking gun? How do you pronounce that again? Sorry?
Called weaponization of federal government have uncovered smoking gun documents.
Smoking gun. I see.
Documents that reveal how the U.S. government and big tech have worked together to suppress free speech online. Jordan has...
Terrible. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Has zeroed in on Elvis Chan, a San Francisco FBI agent, as a key player in facilitating...
I thought he would look kind of different. I was expecting big sunglasses, maybe a large collar, rhinestones.
Communications between...
I was not expecting him to be in front of a bed in front of a bed sheet in a... I mean, he just blends.
The Bureau and big tech as part of the FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force.
Oh, no.
Jordan says Chan met with Facebook on October 14th, 2020, the day the New York Post published the Hunter Biden story.
That's weird. Did they wait?
But lied about it in an ongoing federal investigation. In his testimony, Chan claims he was unaware of any communications between Facebook and the FBI about the Hunter Biden laptop story. These statements...
How about Facebook? Other than that meeting you referred to, where an analyst asked the FBI to comment on the Hunter Biden investigation, are you aware of any communications between anyone at Facebook and anyone at the FBI related to the Hunter Biden laptop story? Chan, no. I mean, I think, obviously, the meeting is that meeting? Is that what the meeting you're talking about?
They're part of a lawsuit that were brought by Missouri and Louisiana against the Biden administration, which...
Well, oddly enough, not against the Trump administration when all of this actually started.
Accuses the White House of suppressing free speech.
You do realize that when the Hunter Biden laptop story came out, Donald Trump was president. You are aware of this. And now get out of my pool.
Meanwhile, the House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says he will release more bank records this week.
Very exciting. Bank records. Oh, God. It's bank. I'm sorry. I get so excited when he says bank records.
Week, we're told from an oversight committee spokesperson, those bank records will be from Kazakhstan, Ukraine, and Russia. Hunter.
Very excited. Oh my God. I thought that was Comer and using the same filter I'm using.
Biden reportedly received a $3.5 million wire from Elena Baturina, one of Russia's
Well, you know what? You pronounce it your way, sister.
Wealthiest women and the widow of Moscow's former mayor. A Senate report says it was sent to a Rosemont Seneca Thornton account.
Right, and they invested it on her behalf.
An investment firm co-founded by Hunter Biden.
Well, no.
Last week, Devin Archer testified that in the spring of 2014, then Vice President Joe Biden and Hunter Biden met with Baturina at Cafe Milano restaurant here in Washington, D.C. The White House counsel's office releasing
and that's why America has a military base in Moscow now, or doesn't.
A statement today saying reports of that transaction have been debunked by the Washington Post. Meanwhile, the House Oversight Committee has pointed out that Butrina is the only Russian oligarch not to be sanctioned under the Biden administration.
That is so strange. Is she? She hasn't been sanctioned. Is she? We're sure that she's the only Russian with money. What? And by the way, what gets your status as an oligarch? That's what I want to know. What makes you an actual oligarch? Did they give you an award? Is it like the YouTube plaque, which if people would just fucking subscribe, I would have one by now? God damn it.
Kilmany, thank you.
Yeah. Whoa. Hey. I gotta. Sorry, turn this off. I was worried he was going to get excited.
Unbelievable.
Yes, you're right. It is not believable.
Well, the more we talk about Tanya Chutkan, though, the judge in the Trump's J6 case, the more we learn that she's probably one of the most partisan judges that could ever have possibly been assigned to this.
Eileen Cannon. I'm sorry. You do realize you're an asshole, right? You realize Eileen Cannon was actually appointed. She got her job because of Donald Trump. And if we're okay with her running it, we have our complaints, but none of us are like, that bitch should be run off the fucking bench. Like, she's going to do her job or she's not, and this is just life, and this is lesson learned.
This trial. In addition, her past business dealings have raised a lot of eyebrows to say,
oh my God, not eyebrow raises. God forbid.
At the very least.
Yeah, at the very least.
As we covered before, an investigative reporter recently discovered that the judge worked
under the umbrella.
Same law firm as none other than Hunter Biden.
Under the umbrella.
Between 2010 and 2014. And in May of 2014, that same law firm conducted business with Burisma via the president's son. Say it ain't so.
It ain't so. Why'd you skip the phrase under the umbrella?
So here's a simple question.
Why don't I mean, that seems weird. Hold on. Okay. Snopes. Oops. Biden judge 2014. Okay, something like that. Judge is trying to say. Okay, here we go. Let's see. You worked at a law firm that also employed Hunter Biden. It's true. Okay, on August 1st, there's better gun found on charging in the case. Man, the D.C. judge on Trump's indictment case. And it is a fact that we're both. Here we go. This is the breakdown of it. Here you go. That Hunter Biden and Chutkan were both employed by or partners of BSF. It is also factual that BSF provided service to Ukrainian company Burisma, on whose board Hunter Biden served. Chutkan worked at BSF from 2002 until the time of her appointment on the D.C. circuit by Barack Obama in 2014. She was made a partner of the firm in 2007. Biden, meanwhile, held the title of counsel at BSF from 2010 to 2014. After joining the board at Burisma in 2014, as Hunter Biden described in his memoir, he recommended the consulting services of his law firm to help the company implement corporate practices that were up to accepted ethical snuff. Why'd you leave that part out? Burisma paid BSF at least $250,000 for its work. In sum, it is factual that both Hunter Biden and Chutkan worked under the umbrella of Boyce Schiller Flexner between 2010 and 2014. It is also true that BSF did business with, as we rate this claim as true. And this is the part that he cut out. And this is why they did work for Burisma. After joining the board of Burisma in April 2014, as Hunter Biden described in his memoir, the secret book that is only out because James Comer leaked it, he recommended the consulting services of his law firm to help the company implement, quote, corporate practices that were up to accepted ethical snuff. Burisma paid BSF at least $250,000 for its work. And then, of course, the head of the company had to flee because you buy access and you get it.
Are you angry yet?
No, I'm not angry at all. And you're always angry. So
I'm way past that point.
Does anybody think he looks like Stu from Glenn Beck's show if somebody popped him?
Keep in mind, as a taxpayer, like it or not, we are funding this witch hunt against the political persecution of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not.
I like it. Is that okay? I mean, a lot more of us like it, for the record. Statistically speaking, more people like it.
Federal government can commit unlimited resources and deploy total hacks like...
No, they can't. They have a limited amount of it. And goddamn, you couldn't find a worse picture of his nunt?
Jack Smith, Tanya Chutkin, in its relentless effort to put Donald Trump in a jail cell or at very least out of the race.
Well, I think both. I don't know. I think we can do both. I don't know why you feel like both. I mean, he's committed enough crimes, 78 felonies. Believe me, if it was you or I, we'd be in jail by now.
And when Donald Trump defeats these charges,
which he won't do,
and is rightfully vindicated for any wrongdoing.
Any wrongdoing? Have you seen the pictures of the boxes in the shitter?
Whatever.
Have you heard the tape of him saying, this is classified, I shouldn't be showing this top secret, and his assistant or whoever's there going, well, now we're in trouble, and him going, I could declassify this if I was president, but I can't because I maybe would talk to somebody about declassifying this, like he was going to fucking call Biden an ass.
The news, does he have to recoup his time, his energy, damages, finances that he used to clear his name?
He's never going to clear his name. He doesn't want to clear his name. He wants the Trump brand forever to be associated with the guy who did the crime and got away with it anyways.
Joining me now to help answer that, Trump attorney Jesse Binnall. Jesse, appreciate you being here.
And live from the Betsy Ross mansion.
The number one thing is, Trump tweeted out the other day, you go after me, I go after you. But in this case, can he really recoup any of the moral, legal, and emotional damage that's been done?
Moral. You're not gonna roll the Access Hollywood tape right now. Moral. He was just found. The judge just ruled in his E. Jean Carroll case that the jury had found him to be a rapist. Moral? If he had any morals, we wouldn't even know his name right now.
At this point?
Yeah, Carl, that's a great question. And
it's so good.
Fortunately, right now, the way our criminal justice system is set up,
where you can't get out of it even if you're rich. I don't know what the fuck happened. America sucks.
There are not many remedies to go.
Yeah, for a guilty person. It's difficult. Normally, I would advise my client to flee, but he's too well known and no one likes him.
Go and recoup your life that you've lost while the federal government has been going after you.
I'm sorry. Central Park 5 says what?
The process really is the punishment in these cases.
No, it isn't. No. And you as his lawyer should know that there will be a punishment on the other end of this. The process itself is not a punishment. If anything, he's saying it isn't. He's saying it's actually helping him. Whose side are you on?
There are some very rare cases where you can get some of your costs paid back to you.
Yeah, in a civil case.
But it's exceedingly rare, and you'd probably have to go to a court in Washington, D.C. to do it.
Oh, the irony. He never wants to. You know what? If I was him, I would refuse to ever set foot in Washington, D.C. ever again. Period. End of story. Sorry.
So you can guess what that's probably going to be like for Donald Trump. And the simple fact is, this is why that they want to go after him, is they want.
Because he committed a bunch of crimes and you have to prosecute them, because otherwise people will, if they release secrets in the future, they'll go, well, that guy was a private citizen and when he did it and you didn't arrest him. So what's the basis for you bringing a case against me?
Want to do everything they can to bleed him dry, and not just him, but
well, I mean, obviously he's not paying his legal bills.
Also, Trump supporters for the amount.
No. Jack Smith is not trying to use up campaign funds of your average maggot. That's Trump's decision, asshole. I thought this motherfucker was a billionaire. What do you mean bleed him dry? I'm serious. The dude is supposedly worth $9 billion if you ask him. There's no way all these cases combined cost $100 million. Tops. Bleed who dry? Is he rich or not? It's, look, you cannot have Donald Trump as a fucking client and then go on Newsmax and claim poverty.
The amount of people that they have brought in front of the grand jury and labeled as potential subjects in the investigation, they're bleeding those people dry right now too.
Well, I mean, it was an easy way around this. I mean, they could have not engaged in the January 6th insurrection. I would have probably, they could have, if they'd have just stopped short of breaking the law, it's really cheap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, they're charging everybody up and down the pipeline.
What pipeline? Oh, the insurrection criminal conspiracy pipeline. Right, sure. I didn't realize there was a pipeline, but, In
an effort to try to get them to flip on the man. But let's watch this.
Why would they? Why would they try to get him to flip? What's to flip on? I don't understand. What could they possibly say? You can't get somebody to flip if the person's innocent. What are they going to do? Tell you, yeah, give me a deal and I'll tell you he's as innocent as I am.
This clip, though, from MSNBC, the dredges of that place with Joy.
The dredges of that place. Oh, that place with the budget?
Reed. She made this desperate attempt to compare January 6th to the riots at Union Square in Friday. Look at this.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not. If people saw this because it was on real TV.
Famous person summons a crowd to a specific location using social media. Turns into a riot. Dozens arrested on the spot. Not a year later, like the MAGAs who attacked our Capitol on January 6th. Our criminal justice system is definitely bifurcated, but not bifurcated against Donald Trump. Bifurcated in favor of him.
Yeah. And no malarkey detected.
Jesse, that'll be the first time I've ever heard anybody on the left ever say that. But I mean,
say what? We've all been saying this. What are you talking about? Everybody notices that Donald Trump gets way more rope than everybody else.
This totally different cases.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, it's right. Yes, you could argue that a PlayStation, those folks who showed up at Union Square had a higher chance of getting a PlayStation, every single one of them, than those assholes on Jan 6 had of upending our democracy. Thank God.
Oh, of course they're completely different cases.
Yeah, I mean, did you see how many black people were at the other thing?
And most importantly, when it comes to President Trump, he encouraged people to peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard.
No. He said, walk down there. Peacefully and patriotically walk down there. And then he said, but you're going to have to fight or you're not going to have a country once you get there. If they don't do what we need, you're going to have to fight or we're not going to have a country left. That's basically, it was like, don't tear up the shrubs until you get there. Otherwise, they'll know that we mean business before we get there, and they'll defend themselves.
And what we've seen time and time again is that...
Why did he take it out of his speech? Why did he take, I'm going to walk down there with you, we're going down to the Capitol. Why did he take it out of his speech? Why? He planned on it. He was apparently pissed. Remember, he attacked his Secret Service detail because they weren't going to take him. Why'd he take it out? Because if he'd have put it in, there'd have been a lot more cops there to stop that crowd.
The justice system in D.C. has ignored not only President Trump and his rights, but the rights of those who support him. So when President Trump says that they're not...
What, the rights of those that support him? To what? They voted, didn't they? He lost fair and square. They got to vote. What other rights are you talking about?
Not coming after me, they're coming after you.
Yeah, that's gibberish. That's it. Well, tell you what, he should, you know what? He should roll on them. He should just, save himself. He should do what Giuliani's going to do to Trump. Trump should do to all of MAGA. I didn't do. They made me do this. They forced me to do it. If I didn't do that, these motherfuckers will kill me. Have you listened to him?
I'm just in the way, and he's.
I would snope that a half truth. Because Trump is kind of in the way.
He's absolutely right. And we're seeing that time and time again.
No, we're not.
That the establishment, the
establishment, that's adorable.
Bureaucratic establishment in Washington, D.C. that really runs this city.
They run the city. Did they run it when he was president? Because, you know, he lost while he was president. You know, this isn't 2016. He was president of the United States when they ran this city in a way that he apparently lost. Are you telling me he's not the leader I think he is?
They cannot stand Trump. They cannot stand Trump supporters. They want to get back to the days where they ran the country regardless of who was in office.
Yes, Democrats have always run Washington no matter who was in office. During Reagan, Bush 1, Bush 2, you know, those were all Democratic policies. I don't even know why we even bother to run for office at all.
Democrats and Republicans could come and go, but the bureaucracy would always reign supreme. Donald Trump's the first one to challenge that. And
no, he's just the first one to try to violate the Constitution and keep himself in office like he's Xi Jinping.
That's why they keep coming after him.
No, they keep coming after him because he keeps criming. You do realize if he'd have just turned those boxes of documents back over, that case wouldn't have even happened.
Yeah, it's almost like fire everybody and say you can never work for the federal government if you've worked there for, you know, a period of time in the past.
Yeah, I would say, like, you mean like Newsmax is going to do with everybody that... Oh, you didn't hear? You didn't get the memo. Shit.
Jesse Binnall, we appreciate you being here very much.
We so do. We do. Newsma. Newsma? See? Yeah, see? It's Newsma. That would be a better name for the thing. Newsma. See? Yeah, see? I love the fact that, like, because someone is not going to let him break the law like he has for years, or make him live up to the terms of service of a fucking social media platform, that suddenly that proves that there's an evil cabal trying to shut him down. Whereas the rest of us are like, remember all that shit about if we did 5% of what Hillary did, we'd all be in jail. That's true of him. Ugh, just so aggravating. But you know, it's not aggravating. You guys, hi, good to see you. Don't forget, super chat. I forgot to mention it. 666 super chats, or you know, when we hit 1,000 in there, 10, or we got over 2,000. I'm just saying, no pressure. Okay, now there. Oh God, there's just so much to go. Can we? Okay, I don't know what the fuck this is. I swear. All right, it's a toss up. This business. I don't know what this picture of Jimmy Dore is. It looks like it's AI, and it's Jimmy talking about Vivek Ramaswamy's comment. On the Blaze with that dickhead sexist fuck that wanders around making gross jokes at women on the Blaze, you know, that Christian-ish network, or this business, which is Mark Levin. Here it is, leftist lunacy. I gotta find it because obviously, you know, I love when they tell us what we think allegedly. So here we go. This is short, too. It's only 4 minutes. Oh, shit.
Forms.
All right, hold on. Sorry. And I also don't know why they... I don't know how, like, the volume on this fucking thing. I don't know why they use this, like, weird, shitty clip format.
Because these leftists have huge platforms.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for noticing. Huge platforms, do we? I see.
They have NBC and ABC and CBS.
Yeah, those aren't leftists.
I don't have them. I don't even...
Yeah, you have Fox, and you're on the Blaze, and the radio, and the Heritage Foundation buys up your book so it makes the bestseller list. Fuck off.
But we don't have them. They have the New York Times, the Washington Post. We don't have them. We have a relatively small and growing, independent, truthful media.
Truthful? Is that Trump's new company, Truthful?
I don't even call it conservative media. Truthful media.
Truthful media. What? Yeah, truth isn't truth. Isn't that what Giuliani said?
But they far outnumber us. So it takes you and me.
Yeah, it does. You and I.
On radio.
Well.
on Life, Liberty, and Levin, and here on Blaze, on Levin TV.
Levin TV?
To acquire the knowledge?
To acquire it. So do we have to do the news in harmony now? Jesus.
Get the
winter rehearsals.
Book, to spread the knowledge, to spread the word. But isn't it important that we lay the foundation for what the hell's going on in this country?
I don't know. That's a gibberish sentence, and you're entering into the middle of something else. That clip that you just played was obviously from a different point in this video, and this opening salvo is just garbage. Explain yourself.
We not allow the left and their publishers to do this to us?
The left and their publishers. If they're the left, they haven't. What is it? A co-op? How would the left publish things or whatever? Who do we all get assigned a page?
One of
the fuck?
The reasons I wrote this. The Democrat Party hates America.
All right, this looks like a spoof I would do of him. This is fucking dumb. Get out of here. This is why I wrote this. The Democratic Party hates America. Why is your name in America so big, and then the Democratic Party, like if you squint, how do I know that the Republican Party doesn't, why does it not, what the shit?
You're not going to know what the hell.
Hey, you made that up. Get the fuck out of it. That's just a fake book jacket. Somebody at the show just makes a silly, does he do this every day?
To do about this. This book is 400 pages long.
And there's not and it's one run-on sentence for America. No punctuation.
It is.
And the centerfold alone.
Chapter and verse of what this party is all about.
Written by someone who wouldn't speak to a Democrat if it was the only way he could Shawshank his way out of a conversation.
It's got hundreds of endnotes for anybody who wants to check out the facts or challenge the facts.
Well, I mean, I would question whether they're facts or not, is the thing.
And it goes through like Sherman through Atlanta.
Sherman through Atlanta. That's the analogy you want to use. That's it.
Anybody who wants to check out the facts or challenge the facts. And it goes.
By the way, and this is officially how you pronounce Atlanta from now on.
Goes through like Sherman through Atlanta.
Atlanta. I didn't realize that was, the A is silent, and you just do a big exhale after the T. Sherman through Atlanta. And of course, Sherman, he means Sherman Clump. Sherman. Hercules.
The Democrat Party. And it eviscerates them. It eviscerates.
Oh, I know. I still got the scars.
Their history.
Oh, my God. But when they were awful, before they became Republicans.
It eviscerates their ideology, which has changed.
It eviscerates them. It's effervescent. It adds bubbles.
Over time, it eviscerates the people who lead it.
Well, I mean, always have led it, or the type of person that leads it, or one in particular? Because I'm just saying you got a short window, man, because a lot of the people who run it right now are kind of older, so the book's really gonna, I'm fucking with you.
And compare that to what the founders really sought in this country.
And what they want is the Republican Party. Tell us how good the Republican Party is, and you can't use the word rhino. Go for it.
And I explain what they're doing to the country.
Uh-huh. Why can't I just look at the jobs numbers and the CHIPS Act and the infrastructure, or just go out and go, hey, life is back to fucking normal after a giant pandemic, and a lot of the enemy states that we're up against have 100% inflation, and ours is coming down. And can I just look at that? I'll get the book. You're right. I'll get the book.
No, you said, Mark, I already know this. You don't know all of it.
No, I couldn't possibly.
I didn't know all of it when I started this project.
Well, then what drove you to it? So you had the idea that the Democratic Party hates America already in mind, and you sought facts to support that? That doesn't sound very scientific.
I literally told the publisher this is going to be the shortest book I ever write.
And they made a bunch of short jokes, didn't they? Those dicks.
It's the longest book I've ever written.
Yes, it does get a little...
It's not even close. It's 30,000 words longer than any book I've ever written. It's a...
And it'll do nothing. How's that going to feel? I guess at a certain point, since the Heritage Foundation and the RNC are just buying up the book and stacking it someplace like cordwood, and that it ends up on a bonfire at scout jamborees all over the South, does it really matter?
Third longer than American Marxism.
So you just took American Marxism and added like 4 chapters? Because, I mean, how is it any different? Aren't Democrats Marxists? Isn't that what he says?
And it's easy to read. My wife says it reads like...
Well, yeah, obviously. There's not a lot of... It's pretty monosyllabic, isn't it? I mean, that's to be assumed.
A novel. It does, because I work...
It reads like a novel. You know, fiction.
My way through. Boom, boom, boom. Everything isn't...
full of information.
Historically chronological. I mean, I have to take pauses to discuss brainwashing and eugenics and all these other things.
Sure. I mean, that's true when you're just talking to people, Mark. So, yeah.
But it is critical.
Who doesn't take time out in their day to discuss eugenics and brainwashing? You know, I honestly, I'm so brainwashed, I don't even know if that actually happened. Probably not. Who are you?
That our ideas, our truth get out there, because these leftists have huge platforms.
Thank you very much. Look out.
They have NBC and ABC and CBS. I don't have them. I don't even want them, but we don't have them. They have the new...
Yeah, I don't want a big platform. I don't need a big platform. I don't need money and good food and good clothes and a hot body and another one to lay on top of. I don't need white teeth and clear vision and ski lessons. I don't need that. You can have, that's what you do. I don't need to have a summer home and a winter home or whatever the fuck that is. I don't need to know what fork is which. Okay? I just need to sit here in front of my fake brick wall with my little plastic Trump and a copy of my book that none of you are going to fucking read right over my right shoulder. And I need to just talk into this camera and to the crew. Where'd everybody go? Where'd you guys? Hello? Look, did you guys just tape a red light to the top of this fucking thing? It's unplugged again, isn't it? Motherfucker.
New York Times, the Washington Post. We don't have them. We have a relatively small and growing...
Yeah, it's you and QAnon and a corner of the internet. Go, baby.
Independent, truthful media. I won't even call it conservative media. Truthful media.
Well, yeah, because you've abandoned all conservative ideals and you just pitched them over the ship because fuck it.
But they far outnumber us. So it takes...
Right. Well, we have depth and girth. You're welcome.
You and me.
I.
On radio.
You and I on radio. You and I.
On Life, Liberty, and Levin. And here on Blaze, on Levin TV.
Yeah, no. People aren't... Mark, they're not coming to this channel, much less the rest of your shit.
To acquire the knowledge, to get the book, to spread the knowledge, to spread the word.
Buy my book and hand out copies because no one is.
And how do we do it?
Angrily, with as high-pitched a voice as is humanly possible, with adult testicle placement.
By mouth.
Ew. 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 No. No. I refuse. No. Absolutely not. No. 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 Mm-mm. No. Not. Mm-mm. Forget it. Forget it. Nope. Mm-mm. No, I'm not going any further. I'm not going to push the button. I'm not going to push play. I can't. I'm not doing anything by mouth with this. No. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I can't do it. I'm not going to put it. I'm not. There's no fucking way I'm going to. Oh, God.
We're an army of tens of millions while we still last.
Why, you're all old? Is that what you're saying?
I understand they've conquered the...
You have a staying power problem?
The culture. That's one of the things I talk about in the book. But if their books, I'm just being honest, guys, I'm just telling the truth, are going to soar to the top.
Right, because they say things that make sense to people, and people read them, and they go, oh, this is informative, and I learned something, and while I may not agree with everything, or I may not have known everything at the beginning of it, I feel like it's been a useful reading endeavor, unlike your book, which is a waste of the most valuable thing any human being has, which is time.
And the left is going to eat them up and digest it, and they're going to push it out.
Well, no. We read them, and then we pass them on or put them on a shelf. I like to make notes in my books, but I don't, strictly speaking, eat my books.
Into the culture. And we're here, very limited in my eye.
Yeah, very small, very sort of shriveled. Yeah, just like turtled in and kind of withering and dry. Oh, dry. And not very, and just like, it's really sad how you guys are just like, we're all like, ah, and you're like, I know, it's got to be rough. How do you get up in the morning?
It's not going to work.
That I agree. What the fuck? Listen to the last sentence of this. Holy shit.
And the left is going to eat them up and digest it, and they're going to push it out into the culture. And we're here, very limited and myopic. It's not going to work.
I mean, I'm just saying it's not the best pitch reel for a television series, Mark. This isn't your audition tape, is it? Okay, this isn't gonna work. Click. That's like one of my endings. It's like, this is a show that I'm gonna do where I'm gonna talk about my clips and that kind of stuff, and then what? I'm just kidding. What an idiot. Okay. All right. Oh god, that's too gross. I can't do it. I got to go to this first. All right, we'll do this one next because I can't. The next one I'm just gonna barf. I think I'm gonna barf. This isn't like a Blaze double feature. I don't know why this shrunk down or whatever. Like, hold on, right there you go. This is the Blaze. I don't know if he's having Jimmy on and Jimmy's responding. I don't know what the fuck this is. It's just, but it's the one thing I can say about this Jimmy clip is that it's on somebody else's show, so therefore it's mercifully short.
I got my MMR vaccine the other day. I just got it again. I just, why not? I try to vaccinate myself as much as possible. Okay, Jimmy,
they started with anti-vax jokes. What's this fucker's name? This is the guy who's just like fucking gross. Alex Stein, right?
Ask you this because I know you're a busy man. We'll get to it quick. I'm going viral.
No, he isn't. What do you mean busy? He's in his garage. He's a millionaire. He's not busy. He just does what he does, and he's right there.
Brett Bayar, however you say his name at Fox News, they played a clip because I had.
Why is it funny that he can't pronounce Brett Bayar's name? Why is that? Because of the spelling of his name? It's Jimmy's enjoying it.
Vivek on, and he said that he didn't believe the 9/11 Commission report, so now everywhere is calling him a 9/11 truther. So let's play that clip.
And since both of you are 9/11 truthers,
I want to get Jimmy's reaction.
Yes, good. It's good programming so far. I think the freeze frame is excellent for both of you.
That's what we need. We need a partner. Okay, rapid fire question. Was the moon landing real or fake, Vivek?
Was the what, moon landing?
Real or fake?
I have no evidence to suggest it was fake, so I'm gonna assume it was real.
Okay, 9/11, inside job or exactly how the government tells us?
I don't believe the government has told us the truth. Again, I'm driven by evidence and data. What I've seen in the last several years is we have to be skeptical of what the government does tell us. I haven't seen evidence to the contrary, but do I believe everything the government told us about it? Absolutely not.
Last two
believe
questions.
The 9/11 Commission? Absolutely not.
Yeah, 9/11 Commission lied. Last two questions. So, Jimmy, that was a pretty...
There's a big difference between his sort of political answer, which he doesn't believe everything that the government tells us, and he doesn't believe everything in the 9/11 Commission, and him just saying 9/11 lie. But that's right. And by the way, Vivek Ramaswamy dead in the water. He just basically there's an attempt on the right to elevate the conspiratorial aspects of RFK to make to sort of chew up some Democratic voters, and at the same time do the exact same thing to Republicans so that they won't be able to compete with Trump.
Pretty, I think middle of the road, fair answer, just calling out the 9/11 Commission report. So before I play the Fox News clip, what did you think about that?
Boy, that sounds crazy. Who would think that the government lies, especially about important things? That guy's nuts.
I believe this is sarcasm, which is what idiots have instead of a sense of humor.
I always thought aliens did 9/11. Isn't that what the government said? Isn't that what they're saying now? What is the government saying now? I'm pretty sure aliens did it. And if you disagree with that, you're a white supremacist, I'm pretty sure. Just like if you thought that the corona...
Kurt quit, didn't he? Jimmy doesn't have Kurt's jokes anymore. I mean, they weren't that great, but they were at least formatted like jokes.
Coronavirus came from a lab in Wuhan. That's racist, right? Isn't that what this is? This is all about white supremacy, I'm pretty sure.
Please stop Asian hate. Do never bring up the Wuhan lab ever again, Jimmy. We have to stop all Asian hate.
Nope. Kurt's there in the background.
So, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm with you. That's racist.
Thank you. We love it. Even though random Asian people get beat up on the street all the time, we need to stop that whatever we can. We love the Chinese. We love Xi Jinping, whatever his name is. We love the Chinese Communist Party. Thank you so much for all your electronics. But now, because of that I think
they're perfect for each other. Kurt, you're fired. Alex Stein is the perfect joke writer for Jimmy. The quality will be maintained at the level it's been at forever.
Normal answer, 9/11 Commission report, 28 pages redacted. There's a lot of missing information when it comes to the structural integrity of Building 7.
And you know what I love about the 9/11 Commission is that George Bush wouldn't testify to the 9/11 Commission unless he did it in secret, and Dick Cheney had to be next to him. I don't think there's anything to see there.
No, and they had to do it in private. Okay, so now let's...
Yeah, but what's really interesting, if you want to bring that up, is that Jimmy doesn't think there's any difference between Trump, Obama, Bush, Biden, Clinton, anybody. And by the way, and Sanders and the squad. Just for the record. That I think is the detail that's missing from this conversation.
Play this clip of Brett Bayar getting mad at Vivek.
I want to ask you about something you said in an interview over the past day or so. Take a listen.
I don't believe the government has told us the truth. Again, I'm driven by evidence and data. What I've seen in the last several years is we have to be skeptical of what the government does tell us. I haven't seen evidence to the contrary, but do I believe everything the government told us about it? Absolutely not.
To be fair, you were asked if 9/11 was an inside job, and you tweeted out, do I believe our government has been completely forthright about 9/11? No, Al-Qaeda clearly planned and executed the attacks, but we have never fully addressed who knew.
That, by the way, that upsets Jimmy and Alex Stein.
What in the Saudi government about it? We can handle the truth. Do you believe 9/11 was an inside job?
I don't, okay. but I do believe
you don't know
the
about
government
the Saudis' role.
Exactly right.
As the
and I don't.
Okay, so this is his way of backing out on it, and this is gonna look at the faces of Alex Stein and Jimmy Dore right now. You can't attack the Saudis.
I don't think we've ever gotten straight answers about that.
As Republicans are criticizing the Biden administration for their policy towards Saudi Arabia, and you're going to talk about foreign policy, do you think it's the right thing to go down this kind of asking questions about this on a foreign policy perspective, diplomacy-wise, in this venue?
So, Brett, I come at it from the perspective.
I love watching television with these two dickheads. I don't care. What did these two idiots say? Because look, they're watching this whole fucking clip. There you go. All right. Now, so whatever. Okay.
Jimmy, why does that go viral, me asking a politician if 9/11 was exactly how the government told us?
That's not because that's not what you said or he said. Don't lie about what you said when we just watched it.
Because we live in we're a country of adult children of alcoholics. And
Projecting. Only left-leaning person brave enough to come on this show. Jimmy Dore's not left-leaning. In fact, he's a Trump voter.
They don't get mad at the people that are lying to you. They get mad at the people.
Wait, Jimmy Dore is hoping to get Harry Sisson next? Why does Jimmy want Harry? I don't know.
People who are pointing out that someone's lying to you. And that's exactly what that is. And we live in a cancel culture, and they're always trying to get, it's always about, it's like we live in a giant cult, right? Well,
no, you do. He does. The rest of us are able to weigh what we hear and decide for ourselves about a lot of things. But also when a politician is going to run the country, how they feel about something can be dissected more so than the average citizen, one would think.
Definitely, we do. And that's what that is. That's trying to, so if you go out of the orthodoxy, you're out of the cult. And now we.
I'm sorry. Tell me how Bernie and the squad are worse than Trump and Hillary and whatever now. Talk to me about Bernie. So talk to me about how if you're in a cult, if you go outside the lines, if you color outside the lines, or you don't behave in a certain orthodoxy, in line with a certain orthodoxy, that you're no longer in the group anymore. And then use AOC or Bernie Sanders as an example. I'm just curious.
Don't have to listen to him anymore, and we don't have to talk about him because he dared to question the things you're not supposed to question. Hey, you're supposed to question everything. That whole, just like you're not supposed to trust science, you don't trust the government, you question science. That's how science works. You question the government.
No. You can question science, that's fine. It's assertions that are the problem, especially ignorant, anti-science assertions. And here's a good example. We know that Jimmy is, he loves him some Joe Rogan, right? Let's see. And Joe Rogan, let's see if I can present this and start this viewer, whatever. Oh, I don't want that. Hold on. Get out of here. Get out of here. I either present and then put a present view, and then we go here, and we take this over here, and go full screen. Okay, so, whoops, get out of here. Stop. Jimmy loves some Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan posted this article saying that risk of all-cause and cardiac-related mortality after vaccination against COVID-19, a meta-analysis of self-controlled case series studies. And he was saying that there is a rise, he was making the case that scientifically it is proven that there is a rise in cardiac-related deaths after COVID vaccination. Period. Okay. First of all, we'll look into this a little bit because it's a lot of fun. But I think the easiest thing is to just jump straight to this, where it says, this study went on to show that the risk of mortality was significantly higher in unvaccinated residents than those who received vaccines. What was that again? This study went on to show that the risk of mortality was significantly higher in unvaccinated residents than those who received vaccines. Among 7 million people in the United States, they reported an incidence of 320 cases 1 to 98 days after approximately 7 million vaccine doses. 320 out of 7 million. Now, they're like, yeah, but that's, fucking young, it leans male and young male and that kind of stuff. Okay, first of all, young males who have cardiac problems occur all the time, but a lot of times they drop dead for other reasons, and it's never really tied to whatever happened to them because you don't go to the doctor that often. Girls, especially teenage girls, see doctors a lot more often because of their girl parts in general than boys do, unless you injure yourself, right? And so tracking it, once we had a pandemic, everybody was going to the doctor more often. So they were tracking what caused somebody's death specifically and we'll get to that in a second. But this is my favorite part. The above 60 age group may lead to confounding in cardiac-related mortality. More importantly, when the authors removed this group, this is people above the age of 60, removed this group from the analysis, the pooled risk incidence reported no significant association between mortality and COVID-19 post-vaccination. Reported no significant association between mortality and COVID-19 post-vaccination. If you remove people above the age of 60, by the way, another group of human beings, men above the age of 60, who haven't been to the doctor in forever, and when they have a cardiac arrest, now anybody who has a cardiac arrest within 98 days of having recently seen a doctor, which includes vaccination for most people, especially if you have a pre-existing condition, you fall into this category no matter what the reasoning was for your cardiac arrest. So it's the fact that you went to the doctor that puts you in this category, this 98 days, and that they were able to relate it, that you had the vaccine in this period of time, but you hadn't seen anybody else. Everybody else who had them in the same category, which was a much bigger number, by the way, if you died from a cardiac arrest, you were just somebody who died from a cardiac arrest. They just didn't relate it to vaccination because it didn't happen within 98 days of it. Period. And still, we're talking about 320 cases out of 7 million. This is a ginormous meta-study. But we continue. These findings of self-controlled case series studies, which may invite bias and therefore may be considered a lower level of evidence, say that more data will be needed to differentiate precisely which vaccine types and regimens this risk is most related to. So they didn't even differentiate between which vaccines. But that's how this video opened. This is like, you got to be able to question the question. Nobody ever fucking stops you from questioning this shit. Question it all you want. It's the assertions that I have a problem with. It was also the assertions that got you kicked off social media. You didn't get kicked off for one. Like, I don't know if they're safe. Are they safe? Does everybody feel like they're safe? I feel like, you guys, like, how do you feel about it? I have this issue and I don't really have a doctor to talk to. And nobody got kicked off of fucking social media for doing that, for just asking questions. You got kicked off for going, oh yeah, if I could give you scales and it's got a fucking chip in it that will, they're trying to put a microchip inside you. That's what you got kicked off for. Nobody ever, like, this whole, like, I was just asking questions, this Tucker defense.
Democracy is not run on trust. The reason why you have transparency.
What the fuck does that mean?
In democracy is because it's run on mistrust. You don't trust anyone. And that's why you're supposed to have transparency. And that's why you're not supposed to have a secret testimony from the president.
Well, you do realize that anything you see, everyone else sees. And if you ever have a situation that may involve national security and you go, we actually have an enemy who's trying to figure out what we know about them and when we know it. And so if I talk about this, frankly, I would reveal some of those details and our enemies would know about it. Then yes, you would indeed hide some of that stuff. And as a citizen of a democracy, you would go, well, I treasure democracy. So I don't think democracy is just walking around bent over, grabbing your ankles with your pants down.
So that's what this is about. So that's how democracy works. It doesn't work on trust. It works on suspicion and mistrust. And that's why you're supposed to have transparency.
Right. And that's why you're allowed to do your show. And nobody has attacked you physically for it. You haven't been locked up for it. And now all I ask is that you just do your show from Russia for a week. I'm sure you can get a visa. I guarantee it. They'll roll out the red carpet. It'll be you and Tara Reid and the foreign minister from Austria.
Government. And that's why they're trying to do that. Any way they can cancel anybody who's got a critique of the establishment, that's what that is. That's character assassination. That's cult-like thinking. And that's what I've been living through for, I don't know, the last at least 5, 6, 7, probably ever since Trump got elected.
Well, I mean, then explain your attacks on Bernie Sanders. Because insofar as I can see, Bernie Sanders still believes what he believes and still is fighting for what he wants to have happen, but he's dealing with the reality of what votes he can get and what programs and what funding he can actually find on a realistic level, and he's dealing with it like a fucking adult. But somehow you act like he betrayed you because he was supposed to give you a ride to Comic-Con.
It's been cult thinking, and that's when I got out of the Democratic Party for sure, because that is one giant.
You didn't get out of the Democratic Party. First of all, this asshole was never in the Democratic Party. Fuck off. Secondly, he's not out of the Democratic Party. He is in the Trump crowd. He's in MAGA now.
And cult and COVID proved that you're not allowed to ask questions.
Nope. Raise your hand in the chat room if you were able to ask questions all during COVID. Anybody think that he doesn't know the difference between asserting something ignorantly and asking a question? Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't know the difference. Because I would argue that is his entire fucking show. Is that he's like, I'm just asking questions when he's literally asserting bullshit.
Of your authority, and who you're not allowed to question is who rules over you. And we are ruled by big pharma corporate money.
Which ones? What big pharma corporate? We're ruled by big pharma corporate money. How? Did they control the military industrial complex, or is that a whole different deal? Or do our soldiers now shoot like aspirin or Tylenol out of their guns? How does that work? Does Pfizer own all the real estate in the country like BlackRock does? Or does BlackRock control everything because they have a scary name like BlackRock? Or are they just the representatives for the giant pension funds, which are there to make sure that workers have supplements to Social Security and something to keep them above water in their dotage? If I'm not mistaken, guys, I asked a bunch of questions just then. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have said that any better. No,
yeah, but that's just because you're both equally dumb.
We're applauding you. Applause.
I've got a boner right now.
Shut up, Jimmy. Do not get sexual with Jimmy Dore. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. This is basically Alex Stein is like the poor man's unfunny, slightly more angry, less fit Steven Crowder, who can't grow a beard apparently. I think that's the gig. Anyway, so that's Dore defending the idea that 9/11 truthers are just asking questions. That's the thing in this part, and that if somebody's running for president, the standard for their flights of fancy about what they believe or what they think is a legit point of conversation or question is the same as rando dickhead on the internet, and it ain't. Because I think part of it is simply that your seriousness about how a ship runs, the narrowness of the conversation about what you're allowed to float as an idea about how to pilot a ship narrows to the point of your responsibility, all the way up to captain. If you're a deckhand, you can fuck around a lot more than, say, the ship's spokesperson, the person who makes the announcements or whatever. And they can make less statements than the captain can. The captain can't go, hey, I think I'm going to turn this fucker upside down. I mean, why does a ship have to be pointy side down? Like, that's not what you want to hear from the captain, because you want him to stay within a serious lane in that regard. The rest of us can stand on the place shuffleboard and go, wonder why a ship can't just float upside down, like flat part. Wouldn't the flat part float better? I don't understand water displays. Let's give it a try. I'm kidding. Anyways, was that a 7 or a 9? So, anyways, by the way, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up. It's House Sparks Mega Worldwide. We deal with these assholes so you don't have to. Now, ew, I'm sorry about this. This is gross. 2 totally disgusting human beings together again. Ladies and gentlemen, on the right, Alan Dershowitz. On the left, an aging orangutan scrotum that they have CGI'd a suit on.
Breaking news, let's talk about the latest in the Trump
Let's do it.
cases. And
oh, it's weird. I don't know. They're never going to learn that lesson. They're just not going to do it, are they? She's not going to. I have to, let's see. Now I'm going to have to go with green on this one. Hold on. Let's see. Chroma. Excellent. We'll go with green on this guy. And we'll go in here. There you go. That's not too bad. That's pretty close. Right? Yeah, all right. Let's see. We'll raise the similarity a touch. And even, that's not bad. Okay, that'll do. Hold on. And then we'll smooth it. Is a smooth gun? No. Okay, we'll get this down to here. Take this to here. Like it. And we'll take this guy right here and we'll just move this over here. And then we'll, yeah, there we go. That's a good dress, I think, right? Anyways, she was gonna say something about Alan Dershowitz, so I figured, that's what you were saying.
Bring in Harvard Law Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz, who's also the author of Get Trump, The Threat to Civil Liberties, Due Process, and Our Constitutional Rule of Law. Professor Dershowitz, great to have you. Thanks for your time today, as always.
Hey, Professor.
Yeah, thanks, Professor.
So a few minutes ago, we reported that apparently Twitter's involved in Jack Smith's target here. They wanted Donald Trump's Twitter account, and Twitter initially fought back to the warrant, didn't comply right away, so they've got a $350,000 fine. What do you think the strategy is here to get Donald Trump's Twitter account? It seems like, wouldn't everything already be out there as public knowledge, Professor?
No, because as the President of the United States, communications that he makes are public property. There are special classifications for his personal communications with family members, but anything he uses as an open network, or if he wants to fucking post on a bulletin board, that's public property. His DMs aren't secret. He's President of the United States. That's what they're talking about.
I would think so.
I would
think that if he tweeted, it's admissible evidence against him. And I can't imagine there'd be anything in his Twitter account which isn't public. But if it is, if there is something, they should have to justify that. Government can't just go rummaging through people's First Amendment.
Yeah, they can. You're the President of the United States. Your communications are covered under classification rules.
Statements. But this is a First Amendment case. This is a case all about.
No, it is not.
What Donald Trump said, what he believed, even the things he did, according to him, because he honestly believed and still believes the election was stolen.
Yeah, no. Again, if you think your wife is cheating, that doesn't mean you get to kill her, no matter how much you believed she was really doing. But, Your Honor, I really thought she was dating that guy. I didn't realize he was her priest and he was giving her mouth to mouth. I thought she was cheating on me. So that's I can't get murder one for this. I reacted. Yes, I planned it for weeks, but I was like, whoever this motherfucker is, I'm gonna get him. I'm just saying I should get murder one for her, but manslaughter for him because
he was wrong in my view, but my view doesn't matter under the First Amendment. Under the First Amendment, there's no such thing as a false idea or false opinion.
Okay. Right, but there's fraud. Right? That should be abundantly clear. Is Alan Dershowitz arguing that that shouting fire in a crowded theater, that defrauding someone, pretending to be a police officer, for example, like dressing up as a police, that's technically protected speech, according to Alan. I got multiple massages at fucking Jeffrey Epstein's house, Dershowitz.
The remedy for false ideas and false opinions is to respond to them and write better ideas and better opinions.
Yeah, these aren't opinions. These are directions to underlings to carry out conspiracies, to actually engage in criminal activity. What does this asshole actually think that, like, the DA in any particular city that's dealing with the mob just needs to confront the mob with better ideas about organizations?
To criminalize what somebody said or did consistent with his belief that.
No, sorry. You can, if somebody believes that they have a right to your wallet and you don't, I don't give a fuck how much they believe it. What they do in that belief, and what they say in that belief, especially if they've got a fucking gun in the form of the U.S. government pointed at you that they can use because they are in control of it and you are not, there's a huge fucking difference.
The election was stolen.
What do you make of Judge Tukon in this protective order? Trump's attorneys were not able to make it and set a date for this week. They asked for Monday, but she's forcing it to happen this Friday. It seems like this protective order isn't really a time urgent thing, seeing that it pertains to documents that haven't been released yet. Is this a signal of more things from Judge Tukon in this?
Okay, hi, stupid. The reason why she wants to deal with this before these documents are released is because they are concerned about how Trump will react to these documents once he has them. If he lets out, if he, gives out the names of witnesses and the like, or the private information of witnesses, judges, other counsel involved, because he has it, because he's able legally to look at it, the idea that he could just share it online or post it on fucking Truth Social and get someone fucking killed, they want to deal with that before it happens, so that it stays a blathering free speech issue and not a criminal conspiracy to commit murder or witness tampering.
In this election case that could not be so favorable.
By the way, I have to say, I think that dress is in bad taste. I don't know where she got it. I mean, I always say that, like, all over prints are kind of a mess anyways, but that's just, like, I mean, do they sell that at in the Newsmax gift shop or
for Donald Trump?
I have to tell you, I'm a liberal Democrat who's
no, he's not
voted for Democrats all my life. I do not trust her. I do not trust her to do justice. The test.
Well, why do you trust Donald Trump not to share the personal information of witnesses and investigators?
Not only must justice be done, must it seem to be done. I don't see it being done. This is a woman who learned how to practice law at the feet of a firm, Boyd Schiller firm, that has had the most conflicts of interest, in my opinion, of any major firm in the United States. Of counsel to the firm was none other than Hunter Biden. Clients to the firm, cases involving the firm, involving Hunter Biden and Burisma. This is...
Yeah, and none of them ruled in favor of Shokin. I mean, in favor of Zlochevsky. None of them benefited Burisma except to make it an above-board functioning company, in which it is right now.
Exactly the wrong person to preside over this case.
Well, then tell me about Eileen Cannon, then, because Trump literally gave her her job.
This case was going to be decided largely by the judge, by what instructions the judge gives.
No, it isn't.
So this case should be taken away from her. She should be recused, and she should not be deciding issues that divide the American people.
Now do Eileen Cannon.
Because they're not going to trust her judgment.
I don't care if they don't trust her judgment. They should trust the judgments, because none of this is going to be fucking hidden. All of this, even if they're not cameras in the fucking courtroom, everybody's going to know her reasoning and see the legal writings. Who gives a fuck if you think she donated one direction or the other? It's the same thing with Eileen Cannon. Either their writings and their rulings stand up or they do not. That's what the appellate process is for. That's what he's got competent attorneys, the 15th best money can buy, apparently. They should be able to handle this for him. And if anybody sees that she's written something that's clearly got, a conflict of interest where she's trying to push it one way or the other, or the ruling doesn't go Trump's way, or the ruling doesn't go the state's way, and people, if anything doesn't go Jack Smith's way under her, does that automatically mean, okay, all right, all bets are off? Everything she writes is gold? No, of course not. I could disagree with what she rules, even if it benefits Jack Smith in some ways. Doesn't make any lick of fucking difference in the courtroom. We can hammer this shit out and watch it play out online all we want to.
It should be taken out of the District of Columbia, which is 95% anti-Trump, and put in West Virginia or some
where it's 95% pro-Trump
area, where at least there's a shot at getting a fair trial, like there is in Florida.
Why would there be a fair trial in Florida?
In the county where the trial is going to be taking place in Florida.
Why would that Why would the county that sentenced Jeffrey Epstein to weekend confinement and gave him a key to the fucking jail be your example? Oh, I know why.
But, Manhattan and the District of Columbia, I can't imagine two districts more.
Well, it's apparently the problem is anywhere Trump lives, people eventually grow to hate him.
Trump and more unfair to Trump.
Hey, Professor,
and the American public is not going to trust them.
Just real quick regarding Judge Chutkan, I mean, it's up to her to recuse herself, right? I mean, that really would ultimately come down on her decision.
It's her decision, but it can be appealable if she does.
Yeah, and they have to live with it. Now, and if her rulings are off the reservation and totally strange to whatever they're expecting, there will be appeals based on it. Trump, as a matter of fact, should hope that this is the first one, because trying him a second time would be very expensive and they'd hate to go back to it again. Meanwhile, they're putting a lot of attention on her to draw attention away from Eileen Cannon, and the fact that even in Georgia or with Fani Willis or in New York, everybody's moved past that. Even the people who hate him, they're like, yeah, but he's being tried on the actual evidence.
Doesn't recuse herself, and if there's a conviction, there could be an appeal. There's also some argument.
Good, then appeal. Appeal what she wrote when she's done, and assume from the very beginning a bias. And have your attorneys right now, and this is, I'm not kidding. If I was in this situation and I felt like, oh shit, I'm in a trial and the judge is a Trump appointee and knows all about my live stream and fucking hates my guts, but I can't get it changed, and I know this, I'd have one attorney's job would be to fight the case, and there would be a paralegal or somebody else on the case who would literally be taking notes for points of appeal the entire fucking time. And it would be very easy if I felt that the bias was that strong. Your Honor, this should have gone my way, and everything after this would have, wouldn't have been used against me or seen by the court or the jury in a way that would have prejudiced them against me in a way that, and then in this decision, and then this decision, and this decision, because this person fucking hates me, and that's how they live, and they've always, because they were for the other person in this exchange, whatever. You're a fucking billionaire. Stop bitching.
That can be made. Of course, today lawyers try to make creative arguments. They get indicted. But there's some argument that
creative. Yes, that's what they're being indicted for. Creativity.
Could be made that if there's a motion to recuse her and she refuses it, that is appealable or subject to a writ of mandamus right away. There are cases.
Then do it. Yes. Take advantage of the fact that you think you have these details. And if she rules in a way that is egregious, that you think the appellate court would go, yeah, that's over the line, fucking file it. Knock yourself the fuck out. You might even bump to another judge. The problem is you might bump to a judge that is absolutely fair. You won't be able to make this argument, and it'll be worse.
There's always on that. And so that's one other possibility that could be explored.
A lot of motions, many steps ahead in this road.
Yeah, totally. A lot of steps. And by the way, nice dress.
To Alan Dershowitz, I know you'll be walking us through all of them as it pertains to this and the other cases. And let's see what happens with Georgia. We just had some bank records for Biden, so there could be an indictment that they push forward as a distraction. We'll see. Professor Dershowitz, great to see you.
Oh, I see the bank records on Biden. No, you didn't. And by the way, how are any of Trump's filings distractions? Like, are we just going to pretend that like economics people pretend that COVID didn't exist? We're just going to pretend that January 6th never happened. We're going to pretend that Trump didn't fight for over a fucking year to keep classified documents he had no right, and he was aware that he had no right to have. We're just going to pretend that we haven't seen the pictures of him stacking, having Walt Nauta stack those boxes in a fucking open ballroom at a property that he rents out for events, stacking them in the shitter, stacking them in a room where one of his assistants and people who works there, one of the employees there, walked in and classified documents were literally spilled on the floor. That's why he overreacted to that whole, they think when the FBI spread those things out to take a picture of what was in one particular box and put a little evidentiary tent right in front of it. Remember that? and why he got so upset about it. People think I just dump everything on the floor. It's because he'd already seen the picture that the other employee had sent to Walt Nada that showed exactly that. A box of containing classified documents dumped on the fucking floor in the storage room.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. News Ma. Hey, ma. Hey, ma. Let's see. Hold on. One quick second. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see. This is the
These 34 victims. What many consider to be a sweetheart plea deal with the Southern District of Florida. Do you think anyone will beat your record of discrediting 34 accusers in a single plea deal?
Well, what happened in that case was they only really had one or two accusers that they could prove, and they couldn't prove that they traveled across interstate lines, so they couldn't prove the federal case.
When you were negotiating that deal, did you say the word whore so many times you forgot the meaning?
No, I didn't use that term, and I would never use that term to describe a young woman. I just laid out the facts. I chose to become a defense attorney because I like to defend the government, and I don't like supporting the government. I like challenging the government.
Man, I hope one day I can look at over 100 accusers and someone worth hundreds of millions of dollars and see that the rich pedophile is the underdog.
Fight the power.
Now, Jeffrey Epstein owned an island in the Caribbean
This is
called
from
Little...
Colbert's show. I don't want to get take out. There's one point where he talks about they actually have the clip of him from this interview.
When Jeffrey Epstein first bought the island, he flew a private plane. We were vacationing in Guadeloupe or Martinique, I forget. And he flew us to the island for one day to see the new island. Nobody was on the island. And we met there with a professor at Harvard Law School and his wife and my daughter. We spent one day there. There were no young people there. There were no girls. There were no women.
That's a big relief you weren't there during Epstein's 20-year alleged...
Yeah, you're one of the first. I don't know where you fucking get off saying I was one of the first people on the island.
Where there were ever any young people or any misconduct that I ever saw. The same is true again. President of Harvard, President of the United States.
Well, that's a convincing defense. Nothing could have happened, Mom.
Right. That's from another interview that they cut up. Let me see if I can find. See if the same. That tie. Yeah. Is this the part? Let's see if this is. The fuck? Start up, you weird page. What the hell? Yikes. I don't know why. Some of these videos are being wonky. It's weird when I start trying to find videos of Dershowitz talking about being on Epstein's island, and suddenly the videos don't want to play. That's odd. Hold on. Let's see if I can probably find the. Give me one moment because I'm about to. This is gross. That's the hill. There's this. Ah, yes. Okay. So I think this is the
accuser, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, claims she was forced to have sex with Dershowitz at least 6 times. Dershowitz has forcefully denied ever having any contact with any of Epstein's young women. I spoke with Alan earlier this week about what he sees as the media's.
Alan. I spoke to Alan. Did you now? You call him Alan, do you? All during this period? Even when you're having him on to talk of... All right, Alan, sure.
Failings in its reporting on Jeffrey Epstein.
Sorry, what? The media's failings in reporting on him?
He sees as the media's failings in its reporting on Jeffrey Epstein.
What, they were too hard on him?
Welcome, Alan.
No pun intended.
Good to have you here.
Thank you so much for
So
having me.
you contacted me right after the story ran last month, and I agreed there's more to discuss on this. So my question is, do you believe that the media is withholding details or information that would exonerate you of any wrongdoing with Jeffrey Epstein's accusers and discredit
Yeah, they have video of him getting a massage from an old Russian lady with his underwear still on at Jeffrey Epstein's house. Sure, why not? Yeah, of course. They have testimony from her.
perhaps Virginia Giuffre and maybe some of the others?
It's not a question of belief. It's a question of fact. I sent to Netflix and to Julie Brown and to all the others all the evidence. For example, Virginia Giuffre tried to deep six a series of emails in which she's told by another journalist, Sharon Churcher, we know Dershowitz didn't do anything wrong. There's no proof he did anything wrong, but you should put him in your book because he's famous. He did Reversal of Fortune. It'll help you with your book pitch. And then she put me in her book as somebody she did not have sex with.
Listen.
I gave that to everybody.
All right.
Nobody has been willing to put that on.
Well, I spoke to some of these people. You mentioned Julie Brown. Julie Brown, of course, works for the Miami Herald, and she's done a lot of reporting on this over the course of several years. She sent me an email. She said, Alan Dershowitz is in a panic. She said, Dershowitz has never shown me or my editors any proof at all. There are no details we have left out because nearly all the conversations we've had with him, he has demanded that they be off the record. He wants to publish information as sourced only. Is that true?
Totally false. I have a
But then they can't respond because,
recording. She allowed me to record our meeting, and in the meetings with her editor, and it's all a matter of record because it's on tape. I showed her this material. I gave her the material. I wrote a letter to her on the record letter saying she could use the material on the record in which I provided all this information. I also provided it to Netflix pursuant to an agreement with Netflix that they would put it on the air.
Filthy Rich you're referring to, it was, sort of a docudrama. It was entertainment. But you had fair voice in there, Alan, and then you came afterwards and
yeah, they're fucking with you, dude. I don't know. I don't think they yell at your teeth, but they certainly didn't warn you that you might want to get them bleached before you come on because, can't be to think of Filthy Rich as one of the people who went to Epstein. This fucker was one of the first people to set foot on Epstein's Island after he bought it. The fuck out of here. I had no idea. Like, yes, you did. You had to. And if you didn't, why should anyone listen to you about anything else? There is no upside to this. You're either profoundly stupid or disgusting. That's it.
You said that no one should believe anything that was in that documentary, but you were in it. You were in it, and you said you never did anything with any of the.
Yeah, and we shouldn't believe that because that's obviously what he's trying to tell you. Don't listen to him. He was in that documentary. He denies everything, and in that documentary, you should disregard anything he says. That makes sense.
These young women.
There's a big difference between saying I didn't do anything and playing a tape by her own lawyer, David Boies, in which he said she was wrong, simply wrong to accuse you. You couldn't have been in any of the places she said you were at. I gave them that tape. A tape by her best friend.
They said that's not usable, that it's not clear who they're talking about.
Absolutely usable.
Yeah, he's swapping stuff around. First of all, he admits to being at multiple times at Epstein's house getting multiple massages. Originally, it was just like one time, and I left my underwear on. It was an old Russian lady, and now it's like it was a regular thing.
Repeating what they said to me.
Let me tell you, the United States government and the district attorney have heard the tape, and they've credited it, and they've said it's correct. Why do you think the...
No, they haven't. What the fuck are you talking about?
The United States Attorney's Office has...
Yeah, good point, Doc. Why the fuck this asshole still works at Harvard is beyond me.
Used Virginia.
Again, you don't even have to just fucking bragging about being one of the first people on Epstein's Island. If I was Harvard, I'd be like, yeah, dude, we got to cut you loose. Fucking, you've known this dude for decades. It's one of two things are true. Either you were fucking around with this dude, which is awful, and you're a criminal and get the fuck out of here, or you had no idea this was happening and it was happening right in front. You were friends with this motherfucker this whole time, and somehow this shit slipped by. Everybody else knew but you. How can we have you teach our students if you're that fucking blind?
Giuffre as either a witness or a victim.
Okay, let me ask you something.
In both indictments, they went around her. And I think the question the media should be asking is, does the United States government believe that she has credibility problems? I have her own lawyer, Brad Edwards, on television, wait a minute, saying that he doesn't believe that she had sex with any prominent people,
including Prince Andrew.
There's photos.
Yeah, A, that's her, and B, she's a child, and C, fuck you. I got news for you, asshole. Maybe it's because he doesn't consider you prominent.
Photographs of her with
He's
Prince
used
Andrew.
the word, no, it doesn't. There's no photographs of them having sex. He has.
Oh my fucking God. Ugh, I can't. So just so you know, that is who the lovely folks at Newsmax bring on to defend Donald Trump. That's their go-to for legal defense. Ugh. Good Lord. You know, there's one rule that Trump does not use in picking his lawyers.
No perverts.
Yeah, that one does not apply, apparently, to any of his... Or people who work around him, I guess.
No perverts.
It's only everywhere, I guess. I guess you don't let any of them go, is what he means. Like, you make sure they're working for you. Ugh. Good Lord. So fucking awful. Sorry. That's much better. It's a much better design. I like what she did there. I do. So, whew. There you go. So that's fun stuff. Oh God. Now, we're already over time. Should we do one little jump in? I don't know what the fuck this is, so I want to check this out real quick, if I may. And I restart this page. Yeah. Reload it. Quit. God damn it. All right, they won't show it.
Just keep.
Hold on. This is recognize this guy. What you might not recognize, and you only get a glimpse of it, when I reload this, is the cover page for this. Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. I know what you're thinking. Isn't Diamond dead? Isn't it a little weird to call it Chit Chat Live if one of them is not alive? Yeah. But it's his network. Maybe he's making her. Maybe he's making Silk do this. The fuck kind of... Is there sound coming from this shit? No. It's just that the ads aren't coming through. Hold on. Does it just not load? Is that what a piece of shit.
Products online, the cost of marketing just keeps going up, and these problems are passed down to you, the consumer.
Terrible. My charge. You can't make new graphics? Look, they do that, in loving memory of her.
Wow. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. I'm your host, Silk, and you are my co-host, my Diamond Dream Team. So I want you all to make sure you go to diamondsilkstore.com and get you one of these wonderful brooch pins. That's right, the Diamond and Silk brooch pin at diamondsilkstore.com. Be sure you all share this broadcast. Where? 2.0, the My Mattress Topper 2.0.
Vax
he don't know what
shedding
he gonna
detox.
do. We don't know what he's gonna do. Tonight's show is also sponsored by Cat.
Oh my God!
And they're tensed
Cat's
up.
remedies.
Majority of my tension is right here in my neck area, my shoulders area. So I someone to try it out.
Fulvic Minerals Plus.
$5. Okay.
Yeah,
go to diamondandsilkstore.com. You will see the button right there.
Oh yeah, just put it right in there.
Button that says diamondandsilk.com. Shop Diamond and get all right. You gotta use referral code Diamond.
No.
Are transforming the spirit.
That's the ad.
Everywhere I go, there's another bad politician. There's another bad job.
Okay, all right. So this is the beginning of this is Mike
Mr.
Lindell.
Mike.
After fucking 15 minutes of ads at the top of this. Jesus Christ, what is this? A blockbuster movie?
Lindell. Mike.
Well, hello, Silk.
Wow.
Thanks for having me on. Boy, it seems like a
Well, at least those millions of dollars are well spent. And to everybody who complains about my audio, you're welcome.
A long time ago, I seen the at the Rose Garden there when I got out there and gave that speech with the president. I said, "Can I ask me all the time?" They go, "Mike, when you said that, you said pray for grace. This doesn't feel like grace. The times we're in, but oh yes, it is."
Yeah, sometimes grace chafes. You know. And the Lord spoke unto them and said, sometimes life is going to feel like a sandpaper hand job. But trust me, eventually, it'll hurt so much you don't feel anything anymore. Eventually, everything will go numb. You're welcome. Amen.
And the stuff that's been going on, I mean, one of the things we're going to talk about at this event is all the bad things that are going on. You know, I look at things to prove God exists, like, you know, using mathematics, 1 in a million. This is
yeah. I mean, you could look at the good times in your life and go, this is proof that God exists. But that's shortchanging God. Who the man who finds faith during explosive diarrhea is the man of true faith, a true Abraham, as it were. When you're gripping the side of the bowl and plastering the inside of it with pudding and screaming at the top of your lungs at the burning sensation and cursing Mexican food and your own low spice tolerance twice in the same day, that's when you know you're a true believer, when you can appreciate that even the awful that God creates is good, because God said he looked upon it all and he said it was good, so it must be, even though it burns a lot.
a 1 in a trillion. This never could happen. When you add,
Mark, I'm speaking euphemistically, for the record.
Add them all together, when do you consider a miracle? And think about this.
Yeah. You know, some people think, athlete's foot isn't a miracle. It is.
All these things, if they don't happen, it would change where we're at right now.
Yes. It's bad to have any kind of regrets. All your bad behavior is good. He wouldn't be half the millionaire he used to be if he hadn't been a crack addict first and then became a millionaire by using his crack addiction and then attacked another person for their addiction with his rich asshole friend from Florida and then lost most of that money. See what I mean? It's like it's the circle of life.
Maybe the election would have been uncovered too early because evil has to show its ugly face. And
that's true. Yeah, you got. I mean, the word fester really is a word I associate with evil. Instant evil is not the good kind. It's the kind that bubbles just below the surface and then pops, and then there's a weird smell.
And they pop up like whack-a-mole everywhere.
Yes, evil, satanic whack-a-mole, like the kidney.
Ow. Go, there's another bad.
Yes.
Politician. There's another bad guy. There's another bad,
And you should hit him on the head with a big hammer. That's the thing. It's like I travel around the country. I'm just beating up politics. Now, I only see Republican politicians, so all the beatings are people who are allegedly on my side. But, see you at Hardee's.
So, yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Anytime you're surrounded in all four directions by evil.
You're absolutely right. With that evil popping up everywhere. And see.
Yes, it's pop-up evil, which is a failed VH1 pilot that I pitched.
If it wouldn't have went this way, then we wouldn't be able to see exactly what's going on, what's been going on.
That's right. Honestly, if I hadn't been beaten while I was mugged, I would never understand really violent crime in a way that would make me want to not go outside ever again. And it was because I didn't go outside that I stayed in the house when it burned to the ground. And here I am in hell because I cursed God as I was on fire, and I was like, "Oh, great, I'm in hell." And then I said hell, and then I said, "Jesus Christ, took the Lord's name in vain." Now I'm in hell up to my tits, so in lava. It's great. So thanks.
Going on. That's the deal that I want everybody to understand. This is nothing new.
No, obviously not. I mean, centuries and centuries of evil.
This has been happening for years after years after years. So I'm excited about the Lindale event happening August the 16th and the 17th. I'm excited that you're allowing us to have the option to live stream this particular event as well.
Yeah. Normally, you would put one of these things and just kind of do it in secret. It's certainly a twist that you're putting it on the internet, is it?
Well, and see it via live stream so that people can know what's going on in our country.
Right. And you know, we're doing something that's never been done before. This isn't more evidence, Diamond. I mean, Silk. This is I'm so used to I see Diamond behind you.
Whoa. Oh, shit. Oh, no, he didn't. No, he did not.
We're doing something that's never been done before. This isn't more evidence, Diamond. I mean, Silk. This is.
Ouch. Yeah. Psst, she's the dead one. That's that's bad. There's no, we're not coming back from that. There's no, that's the end of that clip. That's fucking fit. Man, she's not on vacation, asshole. She's dead, and more than likely because she didn't get vaccinated. You asshole. Fucking hell. Sorry, it's one of those I can't tell you. I never was sure which one was which moments. That's what he had right there. Fuck. Oh. That's rough. Okay. Yeah, that's enough for tonight. Shit. Okay. I love you guys. I need to go shower or something. God damn. Oh. Tomorrow the show's on at 4:00 in the afternoon. It's an hour later because I have family FaceTime. We go back to our regular school year schedule time. So I appreciate you guys. I'll see you. Fuck. That was just, Jesus, what the shit? God damn it. What the fuck? Do we have a cat? Hold on. Chipper. cat butt, cat butt.